If you're anything like myself, you're probably falling into the rabbit hole of watching reels on Instagram, watching TikToks, watching YouTube shorts, seeing this person say this, seeing this other influencer say the other thing, and they just contradict themselves, and it's just overwhelming to the point that you don't even do anything. This is because you must realize that just because you see somebody do something online doesn't mean that you're going to get the same results if you do the exact same thing. You might see a clip of Chris Hemsworth doing this weird ass exercise that looks super complicated, and the first thing you'll think is that, well, the reason why he's so jacked is because he's doing that. But you gotta realize that not everything is black and white in this life, and your lifestyle compared to all these people that you see online is probably very, very different. One, you're probably not in the same financial position as them. Two, you probably don't have the same access to the same resources. And number three, most importantly, you're probably not sticking needles in weird places of your body. And that basically means that you're not taking steroids, you're a natural lifter. So you got to realize that what these people do is going to be very different. Their body will react very differently to what you do as a natural lifter. So copying random workout routines with 1,000 sets, with 1,000 variations is completely pointless. Why? Because your body is completely different to them, right? You're better off listening to somebody that has made natural progress through trial and error by wasting time doing all these BS exercises and then actually realizing what actually worked. Why? Because recovery is different, energy is different, the way that your body responds to different exercises is different. It's all completely different when you're not on steroids. So this is specifically for you people, guys and girls looking to get into the gym that have never touched the weight in their life before. They're completely natural. Maybe you're busy, you're confused, you're a complete beginner. So this is what you're gonna do. And it's actually much, much simpler than you think, which actually benefits us because, like I said, you're probably busy, you're not wanting to spend 24/7 in the gym. This means that you can still make progress. You can't expect to look like a Hollywood superstar, but you can still build the physique that you want without necessarily having to do all these BS exercises with 1,000 variations and spend 2 or 3 hours in the gym every single day. So this is what you're gonna do. You're gonna focus on number one, progressive overload. Don't do 1,000 variations of this specific exercise for a specific muscle, right? It's a lot simpler than that. Focus on compound movements and progressive overload. Progressive overload, if you don't know, is simply the art of going harder than last time. So for example, if you're doing a compound movement like the bench press, if you did one plate of 45 on each side last time for 12 reps, you increase the weights to a plate and you add maybe 5 or 10 pounds next time. And of course, you're gonna do less reps because it's a heavier weight, but you eventually get stronger as long as you're recovering properly and you're genuinely pushing yourself to a high intensity, which is 1 or 2 reps max shy of failure. You're gonna get stronger. Your body recovers and it gets stronger not when it's in the gym, but actually what happens in between your gym sessions. Whenever you're asleep, whenever you're walking around, whenever you're just taking a nap, that kind of thing, that is when the muscle grows. And each time that you go to hit the gym once again and you actually increase the weight, that's what tells you that you are getting stronger and that you are building muscle. It's a lot simpler than it might seem, but that's all you gotta do. And when it comes to exercise variation, focus on compound movements. Why? Because whenever you're a natural lifter, you don't want to do 1,000 different sets of a different exercise. Because, like I said, recovery is different, right? As a natural lifter, you want to be a lot more conservative when it comes to your recovery and your energy. You don't have the same energy as somebody that's blasting 1,000 milligrams of testosterone into their bloodstream, right? Your body is a machine and it can only go so far, especially if you're just a beginner. So you don't want to do 1,000 sets after a certain point, which is usually around 2, max 3 exercises per muscle group. It's just going to be junk volume, what they call junk volume, and you're just putting more stress on your body that's not helping you grow. So focus on doing less but higher intensity. So for example, if you're doing an upper body day, if you're going to do a bench and pull-ups, that's perfect. That's the perfect compound exercises. One for your back and then one for your chest, right? But max 3 sets per exercise. Doesn't mean you're only going to do those 2 exercises, but those are going to be the 2 main compound lifts you want to focus on and get stronger every single time. But then from there, of course, add your accessory exercises like your bicep curls, your tricep extensions, lateral raises, very important. But always focus on those compound movements, because if you get stronger with the basics, that is how you grow. That's how you know that you're getting stronger without putting so much fatigue on your body. That's not really helping you. If your body's wasting so much energy recovering in between each session, you're not going to be fully recovered by the time that you go to your next gym session, and you're not going to be able to push yourself as intensely as if you would have done less sets but greater intensity, which is still going to stimulate muscle growth, and you're gonna have a lot more energy if you did less sets. As opposed to doing more sets, you're gonna be more fatigued. You might have stimulated muscle growth, but because your body is using all the energy on recovering from that last gym session, you can't push yourself as intense on this upcoming gym session. But yeah, focus on progressive overload. Your recovery, always 7 to 8 hours of sleep per night. And as long as you're doing max 3 sets per exercise, even if you take every single one of those very, very close to failure, which is what I recommend. Why? Because that is exactly what it is. Low intensity, not low intensity, low volume, but high intensity. Doing less reps, less sets, but taking each set to a point where you're stimulating muscle growth without adding extra fatigue to that muscle. That's going to be optimal, because you're not going to need as much recovery, but you're still going to get that stimulus on that muscle. So that's how you get best of both worlds. And finally, when it comes to your nutrition, always eat at maintenance calories unless you're overweight or obese. You want to be on a caloric deficit if you are. But if you're malnourished, you're skinny fat, or you're in a normal weight but you don't have a lot of muscle, focus on just eating at maintenance calories and eating 1 gram per pound of body weight. But yeah, that is the simple way on how you genuinely build muscle and get jacked as a natural lifter who's not taking steroids, who's not rich, who can't meal prep all the time, that can dedicate 24/7 hours to the gym, or somebody that's not preparing for some Hollywood movie role. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you think this is a little bit complicated, or you might want to work with me one-on-one, you can apply for a 15-minute strategy session. See if it would make sense for us to work with each other. Link is in the description. But yeah, thank you guys. Bye-bye.